There was one day when I realized just how much my father loved me. I had spent a summer holiday researching the history of the Bradford Canal, which was a 3-mile branch line off the Leeds-Liverpool Canal. And I was 15, 16 at the time, and I went off on my bike and I knocked on people's doors and asked them about, do you know that this house was a cottage built for the canal? And I even went up to London to the Public Records Office and got them to bring out all the boxes of the record papers. Now, this canal was built between 1771 and 1774, so about the same time as Handel. So think of the Messiah and that kind of music. And I had an absolute fantastic summer. Didn't even want to see my friends. I was out and about taking photographs, and this canal had all been filled in, but you could find the route. It was really wonderful. And I then wrote up the story, and my father brought a typewriter home from his business, and I spent weeks typing this story, writing this story, and then retyping, because of course good writing is rewriting. And I rewrote and rewrote and rewrote this thing, and then I went back to school, and I was away at school, and one weekend I was called to the telephone because my parents had called and they said, "Is this you?" And they had opened up the local paper, which was a daily paper in the city, up in Yorkshire. And they said, "DJ Berwick reveals the checkered history of the Bradford Canal." And I remember saying, wow, they published it. This was a broadsheet newspaper. It was 2/3 of the page. I was 16 years old, and I got the princely sum of £10. I was very, very pleased with myself. Then I decided, well, I want to be a writer, and of course a writer has a typewriter. In those days, this is of course pre-Google, pre-internet, all this, even pre-computers. So I wrote away to the manufacturers of typewriters for their brochures, and I went through the brochures, and I decided that there was a German one called an Adler Tipper S, made by the Adler company, that was the best. This is the one I wanted, and it was £25, which was an awful lot of money. This is in the early 70s, so over 50 years ago. And I wrote to my father and said, "Could you please lend me the money? I'll put the £10 in from my first article if you loan me the money." And he wrote back and he said no. And I was profoundly disappointed. And he said, "We can discuss this in the school holidays." And I was really upset. But, life goes on. Then when I went home, he came to pick me up from school. We drove home. When I got home, I went into the living room, and there on the table was the Adler Tipper S. It chokes me up even now, because he had listened, he had heard, and he had acted. And it wasn't about the typewriter. It was about helping his young son.